We absolutely need Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy. It is mission critical. Top priority of this program, top priority of Turning Point Action. Tulsi is one of the greatest people I've ever had a chance to know. And joining us now is a dear friend of Tulsi Gabbard, Meghan McCain. Meghan, great to see you. Meghan, you and I have been on different sides of certain issues during the Trump era, but we're on 100% agreement on Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy. So great to have you here, and I've really enjoyed your commentary in support of both. Please walk us through your friendship with Tulsi Gabbard and why you believe Tulsi should be confirmed as DNI director.
Well, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and speak with you today, Charlie. It's really a pleasure. I've known Tulsi a really long time. I was even trying to remember how long. I think it's like 8 years at this point. And we became friends through Van Jones, of all people, who said that we were a lot alike and he wanted us to become friends. And we just had this lunch one day in New York after she came on The View, and we like closed the restaurant down and we're like crying over like bonding over different things. And we've just maintained a really close friendship for years now. She's the godmother to my eldest daughter, and she is one of the greatest patriots, humans. She's the bravest, most talented woman I've ever met. It's a privilege to be her friend. I don't talk to her that way, though. We're like normal friends. I don't like tell her this all the time, but she really loves America and she loves God, and the national security of this country is something she takes to heart with her every single night. It's like a burden she takes with her. And I just think we are so lucky as Americans to have her put in this position. And quite frankly, I'm horrified that she's having any trouble at all. I'm horrified that there are senators like Young and Langford that are hesitating in any way. I think it's despicable. She's a combat veteran. She's more accomplished, in my opinion, than anyone who's being put up in this segment of cabinet members. I'm a fan of RFKs and I like Kash Patel as well. This is not to denigrate them, but she is highly qualified, and it is imperative to this country and to the administration that she gets over the line.
I totally agree with you. And so just the objections that some of these senators are raising are so weak. And I spent a lot of time over the weekend trying to contact some of their senators or friends of them. So, okay, well, what is the issue here? And you're not allowed to use Russian agent because that's BS. It's completely nonsensical. And it's as if it's just like weaponized semantics. I mean, what is it? Because she has a totally clean FBI background check, like sterling. She currently has a security clearance. She served her country and continues to serve her country. All of these kind of talking points against her are just nonsensical. What is their contention and your message to those Republican senators that seem to be putting up an unnecessary fight?
Look, I'm not traditionally MAGA, as you know, even though I'm really happy with this moment. I was telling your producer, it's like a time of new hope for, I think, all Republicans. And I'm really, quite frankly, enjoying the cultural shift towards the right. I don't understand, because I know that Senator Langford and Senator Young come from states that are basically 100% MAGA. I think all counties in Oklahoma went for Trump. I didn't understand their line of questioning, other than I think there's been a lot of really disgusting and abhorrent propaganda against, again, a current member of the military has put her life on the line multiple times for our freedom. I think there's been a lot of slander, sadly, from people like Hillary Clinton and Barry Weiss on Joe Rogan that took on a life of its own and, quite frankly, wasn't squandered enough. I know her so well. And again, I'm someone like, my dad couldn't legally travel to Russia because we were sanctioned. Do you think I would be friends with someone who was compromised by Russia? It's absurdity. And I just find it disgusting left-wing propaganda that for some reason there are some Republicans that have bought into. But I just want to tell you, Mr. Kirk, today, if anyone votes against her, I promise you, I will do anything in my power to make sure there are consequences for this, or RFK for that matter, because this is it's about more than just Tulsi and RFK. This is about the new coalition in the Republican Party, and particularly women and moms who came out in droves, a lot of first-time Trump voters who came out and voted because they wanted this, squad of people. They wanted the dream team, which includes RFK and Tulsi Gabbard, and they deserve to have their choices in the cabinet. It is not up to just these people. And you can't give me a real reason you don't like, Tulsi, other than, you've listened to some propaganda on the internet. And I'm heartbroken by it, but I do think we're going to get her over the line. And if for some reason we don't, I promise you, there will be hell to pay. And I hope that you will join me in getting retribution for it.
I will join you in launching primaries against these people. It's so inexcusable. There is no argument there. I want you to dive deeper into this, Meghan, because I was really taken by something you said on the Mark Halperin show that I totally agree, that there are millions, we don't know the number, but a significant portion of moms and women that are now Republican and voting Republican because of the Bobby Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard unity party. When I speak to DC insiders, they think that's overrated, obviously, because they're high on their own supply. I know it's not overrated. I think it's actually one of the decisive ingredients to this new Republican governing majority. Please speak more about this.
A lot of moms, and this is obviously anecdotal in my life, but every single woman in my life, except for like two, voted for Trump. And some of them were not traditional Trump supporters. And it was in no small part because of how radicalized they became during COVID with the lockdowns and the vaccines and all the things we already know. And RFK and Tulsi gave them a new hope for the future in lots of different ways. And also, trans people in sports, like all the culture war things. And I think that they gave a safe space to vote for Trump for people that were maybe on the edge or independent or had been Democrats in the past. And I think when you look at people like Jessica Krause, who runs the Incredible House and Habit Instagram account, there is a momentous wave of women in this country who are supporting RFK and Tulsi Gabbard and Trump as a result. And I don't want to lose these people. I don't want to lose the future. We have to start also looking at, elections 4 years from now, 8 years from now. I love this cultural moment right now. I've never felt more validated. I spent so many years of my life getting my what kicked because I was Republican. And to see everything I said come true, I love this moment. I don't want to lose it. And RFK and Tulsi Gabbard are integral to making sure we don't lose these people.
Yeah, and I again, they don't have a Senate majority because of James Lankford. Okay, let's be honest. Millions of moms did not show up to go vote. It was because of President Trump's understanding and ability, and honestly, he deserves a lot of credit for giving them the highest possible promotions of Tulsi and Bobby Kennedy. Let's talk about the Bobby Kennedy wrinkle for a second, because we have touched on Tulsi Gabbard. He especially has put a health emphasis and a health focus on the Republican Party that moms are very conscientious of, that otherwise was not an element. You remember, Megan, 10 to 15 years ago, that was a primarily Democrat kind of coalition, eating healthy, having more questions about the healthcare system. Now it seems it has come to the conservative and the Republican Party. It's not just politically advantageous, but it's also the morally right thing to do with our kids being so sick and so inexcusably drowning in chronic illness. Bobby Kennedy represents a 10 to 15% boost, I think, for the Republican Party. Please speak about that.
Look, I was just watching a video right before I came on here about this organic eggs that I personally buy that apparently is really bad for you. And if you look at the subtext of the ingredients, they're not actually that organic. I think I became much more acutely aware of all of this during COVID, like everybody else, because, I have not given my children the COVID vaccine. They are vaccinated and then with other vaccines, but I'm very fearful of the COVID vaccine. And I started reading the way everybody else did about different things and the long-term consequences. And it just, I think, started opening up a lot of people's minds about how much the government lies to us. And to me, it was there's a group of people who will lie forever, who will lock down our children to make sure that their mental health deteriorates to holy hell. They do not care about moms. They do not care about kids. They do not care about their health. I mean, why do we have so many foods in this country that are legal here? Skittles are banned in Europe. Why?
Exactly.
Why am I allowed to Skittles here and not in Europe? There's a coffee creamer that I use that's banned everywhere else but here. I found that out. Why isn't that here? Why do I have to be doing this much homework? And I think he's just showing a sign of new hope for those of us. I'm genuinely worried about my children being poisoned by the food we're eating. And I am far from the minority. And again, one thing that I really took away, because I sat with Tulsi at her hearing this week, was that the senators really don't understand this movement. That was my big takeaway, particularly from Senator Young and Senator Langford. And then obviously the Democrats is they obviously don't know any Maha moms. They don't know this coalition of people, which is really, quite frankly, pathetic because it's such a huge, swath of the American public. But they need to understand, if they blow this somehow, there will be consequences to high hell. I think moms of America never underestimate what they can do when they are angry and pissed off. I mean, my governor here in Virginia got elected because moms were told that they didn't have a right to send their kids to whatever school that they wanted. And they had to have, biological men sharing bathrooms with young women. So they need to understand. I don't know how to get people like Senator Langford and Senator Young to understand, but this isn't just about them. It's about a mandate from the American people that President Trump is helping execute.
Well said. Megan, thank you for your time. I want everyone to check out the Citizen McCain podcast. I believe that is the name. And I could not be in more agreement that we need Tulsi and Bobby Kennedy for this big party governing coalition. Megan, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Email us freedom@charliekirk.com and subscribe to our podcast. I mean, I totally agree. We have this moms movement, and what are we just going to discard it? And we're just going to kick it aside because you have this. Oh, I was going to say something. I'm not going to say it. For the senator from Oklahoma, these guys really irritate me. This line of question against Tulsi as if she's some sort of Russian asset. I find it repulsive.